Okay, here we are. We're out building our raised garden beds, and this is actually a good project to show you where two drills comes in handy. We've discussed this before, but we've got one with the drill bit and a countersink, and the other one with the bit that'll drive in your screws, because when you're doing this by yourself, it's kind of hard to keep everything level and whatnot. And the way we're putting these together is we're going into the butt ends, so we're going in grain. It's not the most secure way to do it, but later on we can always put in a 2x4 in the corner or 4x4, but I'm not too concerned about it because we may end up putting a little bench all the way around the top, and we don't want to lose any of that space in the corner for plants and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and get this tidied up, and basically you cut your wood to length. Ours are going to be 4 feet by 10 feet instead of 4 by 8, and we have some dirt that we're going to be ordering pretty soon that's going to fill this, and I'm laying these out first, and then I'll get some extra hands and shift them to make sure that both of these are level together and squared up with each other. We will then discuss removing that sod, maybe putting that sod somewhere else, and kind of tilling up the soil that's here. We are going to get some topsoil instead of gardening soil, and I'll show you how to amend that so that it's appropriate for gardening. And that's pretty much about what we're doing today. It's 74, 75 out here, really humid. This is probably one of the hotter days that we've had so far in Michigan, but we're getting it done. We're starting our outdoor projects, hopefully before the 90-degree weather comes. We still have a lot to do back there in the woods, and I'll update you on that probably tomorrow. But this is the project for today. I'll show you the outcome shortly. Okay, so here we are. We're filling up the beds. Got our moss. It's our peat moss with our topsoil. Got our manure. There's our pile of dirt. This is how we do it. So we do a nice bed of topsoil, put in a bag of the peat moss here. And you can see it just breaks up, and what that'll do is that'll keep the topsoil from hardening up. Do that a couple of times. On the final layer we put in the manure and get it all blended up well, and this over here is the final outcome. Hasn't been watered in yet, so it's still kind of dry looking, but making progress. Very cool. Okay, so we got our garden in. We've got 3 tomatoes per bed. Each one of the cages has a tomato. Halfway in between the tomato cages there's a pepper. Underneath, once those grow up, hopefully, we're going to have herbs, so we'll have basil, oregano, thyme, all around. We've got rows of onions, and on the other side we've got lettuce, and it's mirrored in the other bed. We have also got marigolds scattered throughout here because they put off certain scents and pheromones that will attract bees and repel things like pests for tomatoes and such. You can also put lavender, which we have in here as well. Does the same kind of thing. Your herbs are shade to partially sun plants, so once the tomatoes and the peppers grow up, it'll give them some shade and they'll thrive. Onions, sun. So we've got onions on both sides getting sun. So we've got morning sun, afternoon sun, lettuce in the center because it'll get afternoon, high noon sun. So everything was planned out accordingly. So hopefully we have a garden that grows. We've used topsoil, but we had to amend the topsoil with a lot of peat moss and some cow manure. So we will keep an eye on this. We'll water it a couple times a day as needed, and maybe more or less depending on the weather. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. On to the next.